This is my base M4 Mac Mini with just 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of SSD, which I got at a discount of just over $500 USD here in Seoul, South Korea. Crazy good deal, maybe the best deal for a mini desktop like this, but as a content creator, 256 gigs is definitely not ideal for me when storing a bunch of files and video editing. This is also inconveniently missing an SD card slot and some USB-A ports. So to fix both those things, I got this, the Satechi Mac Mini M4 stand and hub with SSD enclosure. This thing gets me all the extra I/O I need, basically gives me the option to upgrade my SSD and fits really nicely under my Mac Mini. For $99, it's a very reasonable price and I think it's the perfect M4 Mac Mini accessory. Why it's so perfect starts with the design. While it's not an ultra premium piece of hardware, it is made with aluminum and the CNC machining feels virtually identical to the Mac Mini itself. And with a perfectly equal length and width dimensions, it really is a perfect looking companion hub. The built-in connector is a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 cable and it makes it easy to connect this hub to the back-facing Thunderbolt 4 ports. There's also a dedicated opening on the back here specifically to solve the infamous power button placement of the Mac Mini. You don't have to lift up your Mac Mini to power it on or off anymore, you can easily reach it like this. The stand has a recessed top so that there's room for airflow from the Mac Mini's ventilation. There are even vents at the bottom for additional heat dissipation, so that's really good attention to detail. That said, I do have a few very small nitpicks. There is no built-in latch or a sort of locking mechanism to keep it perfectly aligned with the Mac Mini. I mean, how often you're going to touch or move your Mac Mini, but for those of you that pay really close attention to little details, it might be slightly annoying whenever the hub and the Mac Mini aren't perfectly aligned with each other. Also, the built-in cable isn't the most elegant solution for the connecting, but it gets the job done and placed behind everything so you really won't see it when you're sitting at your desk. Besides these things that aren't that important, for the price, this stand really is well designed and thought through. And of course, we have all the ports we need here. One SD card slot which gets you up to 312 megabytes per second, two USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 ports capable of up to 10 gigabits per second, and one USB-A 2.0 which gets up to 480 megabits per second. There are plenty of USB-C and Thunderbolt ports on the Mac Mini itself, so I love how this hub gets you all the ports we didn't get. They also didn't skimp out on the speeds either. These are fast ports with high data transfer speeds. I use a low power USB-A 2.0 port the most for my always connected wireless mouse dongle, and my second most used port is the SD card slot for transferring all my camera footage to the Mac Mini. My favorite thing about this SD slot is that it's got a clicking mechanism, so you know when it's fully inserted. This little SD card slot alone makes my entire desktop 5 times better just because of how it simplifies my video editing workflow while keeping things looking clean. The only thing you have to watch out for is that Satechi doesn't recommend these USB-A ports for charging anything, and on top of that, they only recommend connecting one bus powered device at a time. Not a huge deal, but just keep to the USB-C ports on the Mac Mini if you do want to charge anything. But on top of all this, the key selling point for me to get this was the SSD enclosure located at the bottom here. I bought this 1TB Western Digital SSD for just $50 and the whole installation process is super easy. There's no screw on the outside, you just pop open the enclosure, put the included thermal pad at the bottom, pop in the SSD and screw it in, close it up and format it on your Mac, then you're all good to go. If you wanted 1TB SSD internally, that would have been an extra $400 on the Apple website, so it's awesome that I was able to get an additional 1TB SSD for just $50. While it is technically still an external SSD, macOS lets you install apps on external storage, so this $50 upgrade basically gets you a real storage upgrade. While this is amazing and I really do recommend it to everyone thinking about getting a Mac Mini or already have one, there are a couple compatibility stuff to keep in mind. The SSD slot is only compatible with NVMe M2 PCIe SSDs for the listed formats, so this isn't compatible with SATA M2 SSDs, and SSDs with heatsinks or double-sided drives also won't work with the slot. But that's still a huge possible selection of compatible SSDs, so I don't think it's a downside at all. In terms of data write and read speeds, the Mac Mini's internal SSD is still definitely faster than the external SSD when installed here. In sheer numbers, the internal SSD is basically more than double the speed of the external one. That might not sound ideal, but the difference isn't surprising considering there's an extra layer of connectivity required for the external SSD to be connected to the Mac Mini compared to the internal SSD. But in actual real-world tests, like moving files back and forth between the internal and the external SSDs, video editing directly from the external SSD, or running apps from there, there's virtually no difference in my experience. It really feels like I just have a separated internal SSD that I just have to be conscious about where I'm putting my files. The convenience in external hardware definitely wasn't lost in the internal hardware or the software experience. So yeah, for $99, this thing gets you a super well integrated stand for your Mac Mini with all the extra ports you need and an option to significantly expand your storage. Especially for those of you who bought the cheapest base model of the M4 Mac Mini, this is the perfect accessory to get you a huge SSD upgrade for a bargain. I really do recommend this one. If you're interested in buying this or the SSD I bought, make sure to check them out using my Amazon affiliate links down below. Let me know what you think of the setup and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Mac Mini videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.